Welcome, everyone. I'm Lori Wilner, actress, singer, musician, Jewish American. It is my pleasure to be your host tonight for this extraordinary concert, live streamed from the Bearsville Theater in Woodstock, New York. This event is a collaboration between SageArts and Jewish Family Service of Orange County, with the generous support of the Jewish Federation of North America. SageArts organization is a nonprofit that pairs together artists, musicians, and filmmakers with local elders who have powerful and rich stories to tell about their life experiences. Each songwriter, musician, is paired with their person, an elder, and over the course of many sessions, many months, a song is created. It is a deep and unique relationship between artist and elder that culminates in a concert like this, where the work is presented and shared. Now, SageArts has been doing this extraordinary work since 2014, and the founder and president, Colette Ruoff, will talk a bit later in the program about the work that they do. This year, the elders being honored are Holocaust survivors. Since this was such an unprecedented and challenging year, the sessions couldn't take place live in person as they would normally. They happened virtually. And in fact, while planning for today's showcase concert of this delicate collaboration, it was impossible to imagine a theater full of audience members and musicians, chock full on the stage. With everyone's safety being a main priority, we decided to present this concert virtually. Musicians were pre-recorded to create a band that would safely bring these songs to life under the extraordinary musical direction of the multi-talented Julie Last. In the interests of keeping things flowing, we're going to save the credits until the end, where you'll be able to see the names of the wonderful musicians who participated in each song. Keep in mind that you can find out more about SageArts and the people involved on the SageArts website, which is sagearts.org. So, through resilience and hope, we share with you a concert about resilience and hope. How perfect is that? Thanks again for joining us today, and I'd like to introduce our first songwriter, Vickie Russell, who worked with Stanley Reich. She will tell you more about their collaboration. Vickie is a singer, songwriter, keyboardist, guitarist, as well as a coach. She has toured extensively and has produced 3 albums of her original music. Her website is vickierussell.com.
My name is actually Asher Stanley Reich, and I was born November 20, 1930 in Croatia, which at that point was Yugoslavia. I was in concentration camp for a year in Croatia. My aunt was able to get my mother, which was her sister, and me out of the camp. She was here in New York, and she desperately wanted to bring her sister over to New York. So my mother and me, we came to New York. Because my father and the 2 brothers, they got killed. So my mother and me, we were the only survivors of the family. She came from one kibbutz, I came from another kibbutz at the same time, and that's where we met. The dining room had a balcony around it. She was standing on the balcony, but she was turned with the back to me. I saw a pair of legs. I have to see what those legs are carrying.
This is my third SageArts project that I've been involved in. This one was especially close to my heart because my parents are Holocaust survivors. And I was very interested to hear what Stanley and Tamara's story was. But when I met them, Tamara was very specific in that she wanted to really focus on their love story together and about their life. So I wrote about that, and I was also very interested in the history, and I got a lot from that through Stanley. And I feel like I kind of made a new family extension knowing them. Unfortunately, Tamara passed away a year ago and didn't get to hear the whole song, but she got to hear part of it. And so I continue to stay in touch with Stanley. This is the song. It's called Always Together. Born in Yugoslavia to a family of great means, Stanley was a smart boy with a future full of dreams. Then came the war, family no more, sent to a children's labor camp. Mother and son went on the run, escaped to the promised land. Tamara was born in Hungary, lost her loving family, escaped at just 16, traveled alone to find a new home in a kibbutz in Palestine. She caught a glance that started romance lasting a lifetime. Always together, never apart. You are my life, you have my heart. Always together, just you and me, sleeping beside you every night. You are my comfort and my life. Always together. Tamara saw Stanley and sent his friend a note. If you want to see me, then come and let me know. Stanley arrived and love came alive. He married the beauty with dark brown hair. Meadow was born, Israel torn, off to the USA. Living in New York, Emily came along, working any odd job. Their love is what kept them strong. Moving around, upwardly bound, a road trip across the USA. Children all grown, time to move on, off to the Sunshine State. Always my heart, always together, just you and me, sleeping beside you every night. You are my comfort and my life, always together. Florida was lovely. They opened up a store, built themselves a new home. Success was at their door. Tamara had a garden at last, filled with her favorite roses. But family is strong, time to move on, to watch their grandkids grow. Back in New York City, with family and old friends, concerts, parks, and theaters, adventures would never end. Trips to Bermuda, riding a moped, arms wrapped around him, laughing free. Tamara was a gift sent from heaven, blessing Stanley. Always together, never apart. You are my life, you have my heart. Always together, just you and me, sleeping beside you every night. You are my comfort and my life. Always together. She was my comfort and my life. Always together.
Thank you, Vickie and Stanley. That was really beautiful. To see Stanley light up when he talked about his wife was something very special. Next, I'd like you to meet Jen Clapp, who worked with Dan Wiko. Jen Clapp has been writing music and performing music for the last 25 years. She released one CD of original music called Lonesome Sunbeam and is currently at work on a second batch of songs. Here are Jen and Dan.
Hi, my name is Dan Wiko. My middle name is Solomon, for my wisdom. Didn't stick, but my name stuck. And I was born in Shanghai, China in 1939. My parents escaped Germany with me in my mother's belly. So she was pregnant on the ship, and then when they got to Shanghai, I was born. They got there in May, I was born in September. And then we lived out the war years until 1947 in Shanghai. We came here, we landed in San Francisco, and then we were a couple of weeks in San Francisco, and then we came to New York. I was a rabbi and a psychotherapist. I love doing weddings. Have people declare their love for each other. I'm around for 81 years. You know, that not only was I around all these years, but that at some point in time my life had meaning, not only to myself, but to others.
I met Dan Wiko about 18 months ago. We spent many days talking about his life, things that are important to him. And through those conversations, I got a real sense of Dan's desire to have lived a life on his own terms. He originally wanted to call the song I Did It My Way, but I told him that song was already written. So we wrote a different song together. This one I hope captures a bit of his journey from Hebrew schoolboy in New York City to philosopher and rabbi, being a rabbi in his own way. The song is called The Maverick Rabbi.
If it wasn't for the war, I'd have been born in Berlin. When Shanghai opened its doors, 20,000 Jews piled in. I was just a boy when China kicked us out again. And we came to America, a new life to begin. I recall the day my Uncle Martin died. No one had to tell me, I just knew. Early on I learned to trust the voice inside. Was it God telling me what to do? Growing up in New York, our small family thrived. We lost so many in the war, we were determined to survive. I started out in business, then studied philosophy. The life of a maverick rabbi called to me. To dance waltzes with my grandma, roll up the carpets, turn the volume up high, swirling cheek to cheek, gliding with the beat, lost in the music, free. Follow rules. If I'm not hurting anyone, who's to say what I should do? In a Catholic church, I said the eulogy for my best friend, and presided at marriages no other rabbi would attend. If all our sacred books were written long ago, translated many times, who knows what's right? Not something you hear your average rabbi say. My intuition has always been my guide. To dance the cha-cha and the mambo. You should have seen me on those Catskill ballroom floors, swirling cheek to cheek, gliding to the beat, the Latin music and those pretty, pretty girls. photographs, passports, paintings, many framed degrees. Everywhere I turn, I see my work and family. It eases my pain and comforts me. I know all the prayers, I say them every night. It helps me stay connected to my kin. But I believe that God is all of consciousness, all that we are one day returns to Him. I'd love to dance the hora and the tango, shine up my shoes again and waltz across the floor, feeling so free, gliding with the beat, lost in the music with a pretty, pretty girl.
Thank you, Jen and Dan. Stunning. Next, I'd like to introduce you to Colette Ruoff, founder of SageArts, who can tell you more about this beautiful organization.
Thank you so much, Lori. Hello, everyone. Welcome. I'm so happy that you've chosen to be with us today. This program marks SageArts' 7-year anniversary. We started offering programs in 2014 and have now worked with 50 elders in 6 different programs honoring local artists, farmers, teachers, women leaders, residents of Woodstock. And this is our 2nd program honoring Holocaust survivors in partnership with Jewish Family Service Orange. On this anniversary, I want to express my deep gratitude to all the songwriters, the musicians, and our brilliant musical director, Julie Last, for investing themselves so deeply in building this organization with me and bringing their incredible talents to honoring the lives of elders. I started this program back in 2014 because I believe that life experience is a powerful teacher. And when we reflect on our lives and share some of the wisdom that lives in us, the world itself becomes a richer place. I'm grateful for all the elders who have entrusted us with their stories. In particular, the survivors that we honor here today. It can be vulnerable to open up to a stranger and engage in a co-creative process. I want to express my gratitude as well to Jewish Family Service Orange, who has provided incredible leadership, providing services and programming for Holocaust survivors all over the Hudson Valley, and have been wonderful partners for us. And a big, big thank you to everyone here at the Bearsville Theater who is making this beautiful music that we've put together available to you through live stream. something we've never done and we couldn't do without them. What's most important to me and to us at SageArts is that these songs are shared widely. If you're moved by this concert, by these songs, please get the word out. Tell your friends and family. Even if they're not here today, they can watch the show anytime. They just have to go onto the SageArts website, and it'll be available shortly. Next year, I'm very excited to also tell you that we have a film that will air on PBS. It's called We Remember, and it's a behind-the-scenes look at the work we've done with Holocaust survivors. So be on the lookout for that. Thank you very much for being here. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Colette. Our third songwriter is Bonnie Meadow, whose long and varied career in music has included composition and performances for theatrical productions, choirs, worship services. She's the director of the Woodstock Jewish Congregation Choir. Here are Bonnie and Joyce.
My name is Joyce Mizrachi. I was born in Elna, which is the southern part of France, in a French concentration camp. By 1942, everybody was shipped to Auschwitz. I guess about a month or so before then, the nurse that took care of me brought me to my mother. By that time, my sister was with my mother, and my father had left before with my brother. My father knew all the underground of the camp because he was a plumber, so he used to get people out. There was the town priest who knew that my mother was Jewish, and he wanted her to convert. And my mother said, no, I was born a Jew, I am a Jew, and I will die a Jew. My sister had a great deal of, after the war, of getting used to things. The mailman frightened her because he had a uniform. She really had trauma. I was lucky because I didn't go through the drama that my sister or my brother went through. Because everyone, when they spoke, I was just a baby. I wouldn't know what it means. I wouldn't know what happened. But babies get a lot of information from sidelines. You hear things and you see things, and I used to turn away and run away, which you don't realize that it's all been very quiet. No one spoke, but we all felt the same way. I was lucky. That's a given.
The day I met Joyce Mizrachi, the first thing she told me was she didn't think she should have a song written about her because she was just a baby in the Holocaust, and it was really her parents and her sister and brother who had gone through all the suffering. Well, I had her tell me her story anyway. And it became very clear to me and to Joyce that what she went through as a baby was not normal for any baby, and that she really was impacted by this experience. And so we wrote a song, and this is the story. My family was pulled from a train and taken to a camp in southern France. The men went to left, the women right, each family broken and torn. They lived in fear and hunger, and there in Reevesaltz I was born. They escaped and fled to a small town. They had to leave me behind. There they lived in hiding. Brave people never gave them away. A nurse snuck me out to join them. We could be discovered any day. I could not know all that they went through, so they told me, 'cause I was just a baby. But I always sense their fear. I feel that memory. This wasn't normal, and still those feelings live in me. We crossed the sea to America to make a new beginning. But we were a damaged family. The trauma stayed so near. At the sight of a man in uniform, my sister would scream and cry in fear. So I was always the entertainer, the non-complainer, the rule disdainer. Keep them laughing with a sharp impression. Avoid depression with smiles and expression. When my father lay dying on my couch, he held his shoes to his chest. At first it made no sense to me. His life was almost done. But when I asked him why, he said, just in case we all have to run. I am grateful for everything. Had I not been born, they couldn't pretend to go see me to get away. We were almost caught so many times. There is no reason we survived. It's like a hand just moved the danger away. And we were alive. I could not know all that they went through, 'cause I was just a baby. But I always sense their fear. I feel that memory. This wasn't normal, and still the feelings live in me. Even if I was just a baby.
Thank you, Bonnie. That was very moving. Boy, that image of Joyce's father holding onto the shoes as he lay dying, just in case they had to run, tells the whole story. Next, I'd like to introduce Elizabeth Clark. Elizabeth composes dreamy, modern-day sacred music for harp, piano, voice, strings, and world instruments, performing and recording with her Hudson Valley-based ensemble, Mama Lama. She uses her music to heal as well as to entertain.
I was born in Budapest, Hungary in 1938. My name is George Linenblatt, or if you want to know it in Hungarian, it's George Linenblatt. Back in the old country, I used to sing in the choir, me and my brother, for the synagogue. And when we came to the country here, I went to Hebrew College, where I got my diploma, and I became a cantor. And I've been in my synagogue for 50 years. I slept around in Europe because I wanted to play professional water polo for a while. My father was in a labor camp. My mother and two of my other brothers, we were together in a ghetto, and then we were in a Swiss protected houses. I lost my grandfather, my uncle, and two of my aunts. They were in Theresienstadt, in concentration camp. We had a tough time, but we made it. This project is very important so that the young generation to come will remember that the Holocaust happened. Elizabeth is the greatest girl. I don't know how, but she has a little Jewish feeling in her, because when she composed that music, it has the Eastern European, the chazonish, the cantorial music in it, you know. I don't know where she got it from. I don't see inside of her, maybe because she has a feeling towards people. You can't see that, but you can feel it. The best part of her music is when I came to America, that the music had changed, lifted up like coming out from the volcano, you know. She changed it unbelievably, you know. She should be another Mozart, you know.
Well, I've been working together with George for the last 9 months now. Getting to know him in a very odd time on the planet through just virtual visits and connecting in the best way that we can. And he carries a story that is very heavy, but I wouldn't know from meeting him, because he has so much happiness and positivity and energy. So that was a really beautiful guiding light in a difficult time over these 9 months. And the song that came is called How I Learned to Pray. It will tell some of his story, and I also sing it as a prayer. We spent a lot of time talking about George's cantorial practice, singing the prayers, and how much that's been part of his life since he was small, and naturally worked its way into this piece. So I'm very glad that he's joining me here today.
To a question, there is an answer. And for the answer, another question. You always have your doubt. why things happen, asking why. I remember more as a child than from the day before yesterday. You want to forget, but you can't. It comes back in full color. It began by taking everything, all of our things and all of our men. I was held and protected by strong women, mothers' prayers and Nanny's gun. I remember feeling hungry, hiding out from house to house, in a bunker with the open sky above, wondering why others hid underground. I put the yellow star in my pocket. All I need are the stars above. Children, choir and polo, the Iron Curtain, can use our bare hands against a tank, the revolution outside my window. One by one we cross the border, sending word for one another, from the land of food and water. Kiss the ground and sing our freedom off to America, America. Of each person, there's still a spark of tribe. The little spark can turn to fire and burn his hatred
I forgive, but we should never forget why things happen. Asking why.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Thank you, George. That was achingly beautiful. Next, I'd like to introduce to you Paula Blumenau, Outreach Coordinator of Jewish Family Service of Orange County.
Thank you so much. There are over 80,000 Holocaust survivors living in North America currently. They're over 85 years old now, most of them, and it's our goal to support them in our little corner of the world with dignity, hope, and strength. Over the past several years, the goal of our program to support Holocaust survivors has been to provide opportunities for socialization and well-being to Holocaust survivors throughout the Hudson Valley. Hello, I'm Paula Blumenau, Outreach Coordinator with Jewish Family Service. And I'm honored to represent Jewish Family Service of Orange County, as well as our partners in this program, Jewish Family Service of Rockland County and Jewish Family Service of Ulster County. JFS Orange was awarded several grants from the Jewish Federations of North America Center for Supporting Holocaust Survivors, the Center for Advancing Holocaust Survivor Care to do just this. And a major part of what we do is to train our staff, train all that work with Holocaust survivors in person-centered trauma-informed practices. PCTI, as it's defined and developed by JFNA, is a holistic approach to service provision that promotes the empowerment and well-being of trauma survivors by systematically infusing knowledge about trauma in agency-wide programs, policies, and procedures. Once trained, we then match service providers with Holocaust survivors to provide a variety of services. This concert is the culmination of the expression through the arts songwriting component. We also provide other programs in art expression, holistic self-care, and nutritional education. We've been working with over 50 Holocaust survivors and caregivers to that end in Orange County, Rockland County, Dutchess County, and Ulster County. Though we should have been together last May for a live in-person experience together, COVID-19, of course, derailed that. We all provided as needed and pivoted our programs to continue the valuable work and maintain these relationships with our valued Holocaust survivors. I want to thank Colette Ruoff and SageArts and all of the songwriters and everyone involved in bringing this performance together for finding a way to bring this virtual concert to life and to honor our Holocaust survivors in the best way we possibly can. And I want to thank all of our Holocaust survivors who participated in our programs. They were a little different. They weren't housekeeping or home health care. These were creative programs. And it was a leap of faith for many of you to take on these kinds of events and tell your story in these creative ways. But you did them beautifully. In order for projects like these to continue, we all depend on the support of our communities. JFNA is just one avenue of support. We're all nonprofit agencies, and I encourage you to connect with your Jewish Family Service and non-for-profit agency in your community to find out how you can help and how you can support them in these goals. Again, I thank all that participated in these programs, all of our providers, our staff, our survivors, our caregivers, for everything that you have done. Please enjoy the rest of the concert.
Thank you so much, Paula. It's really important work. If you're just joining us, I'd like to say again that you can find out more information about SageArts at their website, sagearts.org, or jfsorange.org. Our next songwriter is Judy Kass, who worked with Trudy album. An award-winning songwriter, Judy is currently finishing a new album to be released later this year.
My name is Judy Album. I am from Czechoslovakia. I had a very happy, comfortable childhood. Around 1943 to 44, we were invaded with the Germans, and then we were taken to a ghetto, and my father was drafted. I never saw my father after that. And then the trains came, and we were shoved into those cattle cars. Then when the doors opened, the first sight, there was an orchestra playing. There was a sign that said Auschwitz, and it said Arbeit macht frei, which means labor will yield you freedom. I could not speak about the Holocaust after the war for a long time. I had a lot of nightmares. My husband didn't want me to go and speak. I would come home upset. And then one day, I read the article in the New York Times quoting Elie Wiesel. He said, when they bury the last survivor, we will bury a living witness. And then I remembered, we did promise each other in the dark days, whoever will survive will tell the world what we have to do. We have to talk about it. And I realized I never fulfilled my promise. Years are going, so I better come out and fulfill that promise to the one who no longer speak.
So I was honored to be able to work with Trudy Album, who survived Auschwitz and shared her story with me. And during our work together in the course of it, we came upon the idea of stones as a metaphor for what we encounter and carry in our lives. And Trudy is such a perfect example of someone who took what she encountered and made them into beautiful, precious gems. So this is Stones.
Life's a strand of random myths, some unfolding into gifts, others spill into a sea of tears. Chance will give us stones to carry on our backs or in our hearts, bringing us together but tearing what we know apart. But if we choose to meet it all with strength and kindness, keeping love the center of our will to live, the wind that drives us. Early days we carry pebbles, hope and laughter keep them light, giving our foundation to withstand a later heavy plight. And the ifs become life-changing with the flick of our baton. Pebbles turn to boulders that crush the dreams they're thrown upon. And if we choose to meet it all with strength and kindness, keeping love the center of our will to live, the wind that drives us. I was blessed to see my boulders turn to gems and precious stones, and I share this story that is mine to understand and know. 'Cause life, it gave me stones to carry, to build a path, a wall, a bridge, and my heart stayed open so time can smooth that jagged edge. And I thrived and met it all with strength and kindness, keeping love the center of my will to live, the wind that drives us. The wind that drives us. Wind that drives us, and the stones we carry. Wind that drives us, and the stones we carry. Wind that drives us, and the stones we carry. Wind that drives us, and the stones we carry. The stones we carry.
Thank you, Judy and Trudy and Peter Levin on piano. Just beautiful. Next, we have Elise Pittelman and Bruria. Elise is a multifaceted artist. She's an accomplished visual artist, a successful jewelry designer, a garden designer, as well as a singer-songwriter. Her relationship with her elder, Bruria, predates this project and goes back over 30 years.
My name is Bruria Bodek-Falk. I was born in Hungary in 1931. We were 8 children, and I was the oldest. I came from a very Orthodox family, Jewish family. My father, may he rest in peace, was primarily a watchmaker. He was arrested in Budapest, and he sent money home to my mother, for sustenance. We were a big children family. And they followed him when he went to the post office. He was put on this big march, and he died from fatigue. They were marching for weeks or months. And I went with my children to visit his grave. And he was such a fun father. I tell my children all the time, that on Saturday, at the end of Sabbath, where it's not exactly out yet, but almost, it's out when you see 3 stars with one look. And if you see 3 stars on Saturday night, that you know Sabbath had ended. So my father would take us for a walk every Friday late afternoon, almost evening, and there were 3 on one side, 3 on the other, and he was in the middle, and we were marching. There were no cars, so we were marching on the way where the horse and buggy were going, a 3 on each side of my father, and we were marching. He really was a fun father, and all of a sudden he stopped, so we all bunched up on him. These are, I think, precious moments. I think my memories are very significant, and that some things are to be shared with.
I have known Bruria for over 30 years. She has been a touchstone for me to my connection to my Jewish heritage. I have watched her at the beginning of the High Holy Days, lighting the candle in the tent at the Woodstock Jewish congregation, and I have been filled with love and affection for this beautiful woman. And I knew after participating in the SageArts Holocaust project from 2 years ago that I wanted to do whatever I could to include her in this. When we got together for the first time, she told me about a song that her father used to sing to her called Sol Akakashmar. She sang it for me, and I went home and did some research, and I discovered that this song is hundreds of years old, and it became an anthem for Hungarian Jews fleeing Hungary during the war, headed for the promised land of Israel. I knew from what I learned that I wanted to include this in my song. And this is for Bruria, Watchmaker's Daughter. Watchmaker's daughter, eldest of 6 children, loves to watch her father fix the clocks of the farmers. He is off to the city, Budapest, to make a living, taken by the Germans, and then march to the border, and they flee, keeping one step ahead of the enemy. She's wanting her life to be how it used to be. Recalling his voice and the song he used to sing. The sun will one day rise, and we will be free again. Look up to the sky. We will find the promised land. They are brought to the ghetto, sterilized and shaven, shipped to Bergen-Belsen. They have milk for the children, and she hides, carrying milk she saved for her grandpapa. She's counting her steps in the arc of the light, so she won't get shot. It's a hard way to live, but she gives all she can give. A father in a grave is just a memory. A family on the run through Hungary. A people under siege for what they all believe. It's hard to comprehend this tragedy, but resolution is strong for those who have been wronged. Sola kakashmar, magnet villamar, Scherbe Scherben, schick me Scherben, Schilderlege me da. The sun will one day rise, and we will be free again. Look up to the sky. We will find the promised land. The sun will one day rise, and we will be free again. Look up to the sky. We will find the promised land. Sola kakashmar, Sola kakashmar, Sola kakashmar.
Thank you, Elise. Thank you, Bruria. And thanks to the great Steve Gorn on clarinet. We have one more collaboration to share with you tonight. Please welcome Michael Veitch, a long-traveling and prolific singer-songwriter from Vermont, now living in Woodstock, New York. Judy Collins has said his song Veterans Day is one of the best songs she has ever recorded. He's finishing a new project for release this fall.
My name is Charles Srebnick. I was born in Brussels, Belgium, 1934. We were invaded by the Germans in 1940. Then they ordered that all the Jews should wear a star so people know they're Jews. My mother decided that wasn't for us, so we never wore a star. My father heard that there was a priest in Namur, Belgium, who was hiding children and Jewish children in Catholic orphanages. So we all went to Namur, and he took me and my mother, to a orphanage, Saint-Jean-de-Dieu, where we stayed for about a year. That was the last time I saw my father. In 1940, when the Germans were very active, my father decided that maybe someday we're going to have to be hidden someplace. So he took all of our photographs and buried them on a farm that was owned by a friend of ours. So when the war was over, my mother went there, and that's how all of our photographs were saved. I think one of the problems that we're starting to face in our society is people forget things. And the Holocaust, which was horrible, people think about it, but a lot of times they forget about it. So it's something that he's brought back to life.
When Charles came to the U.S. after the war, he spent his teenage years backstage at the Apollo Theater. He got exposed to some of the greatest music probably ever written and performed. If this song even holds a tiny fraction of a candle to what he grew up listening to, then I think we've accomplished what we set out to do.
He said just one step will start a road. Taking us far and leading us home. Anything's possible wherever you go. You gotta save a life to save a soul. To the front line, a lifeline. Nothing is impossible. It's a lifetime, your lifeline. Anything is possible. He was watching those trains arrive in the dark. Counting the heads that come and depart. Speaking in colors, codes and front yards. Only 10 years old and come so far. To the front line, a lifeline. Nothing is impossible. It's a lifetime, your lifeline. Anything is possible. Who's in charge from day to night? What's that look in the biased eyes? Big searchlights, we're in their sights. The forest is alive tonight. take you there. Just imagine bigger than anywhere. Greater than knowledge, lighter than air. And it's all for the taking, for us to share. On the front line, a lifeline, nothing is impossible. It's a lifetime, your lifeline. Anything is possible. Anything is possible. Nothing is impossible. Anything is possible. Anything is possible.
Thank you, Michael. It's incredible, really, to be able to take the traumatic experiences that one goes through and to press them into something really beautiful, like making a diamond out of a lump of coal. It's very special. Thank you. We've come to the end of our concert for Resilience and Hope. I'd like to thank all the people whose work and time contributed to bringing you this beautiful event. Thanks to our excellent musicians, our technical wizards, David Gonzalez, Robert and Garrett at the Bearsville Theater, Colette Ruoff of SageArts, Paula Blumenau of Jewish Family Service of Orange County, the amazing Julie Last, who not only musical directed, but put together the videos you saw here. Thanks to the Jewish Federation of North America, without whom we could not have done this. And thanks, of course, to our amazing songwriters and our intrepid and generous elders who let us into their lives. And thank you to all of you who have watched and have enjoyed and been moved by what we've done here. Again, more information on supporting works like this or just finding out more about us, please go to sagearts.org or jfsorange.org. And please stay safe. Be gesinnt kann man glücklich sein. And for those Yiddish impaired who are out there, what I just said is, if you have your health, you have everything. I'm Lori Wilner. You've been watching Concert of Resilience and Hope. Thanks again, and good night.